probably Saturday for some of you guys already. So I want to talk about off-season training and eating a little bit. Then I'll get to your questions, and I know all you guys want to. I'm sure a lot of you guys just want to say Nick Walker's going to win the Olympia. Nick Walker, Nick Walker, Nick Walker. We'll talk about Nick Walker, don't worry, because that's all anybody wants to talk about, and rightfully so. He's a very exciting young champion right now. But let's talk a little bit about off-season, because today's October 1st. Can't even pretend it's summer anymore. It's definitely fall now. And this is a time traditionally when bodybuilders try to put on some bulk, some size, some new muscle tissue. And there's some things I've learned over the past 1,000 years I've been training that I can pass on to you guys, because I've made a lot of mistakes and eventually learned from them. I'm a slow learner, it took me a while. But one thing I want to start off with is your nutrition, because a lot of people go from eating super clean to just eating out of control like crap, tons of garbage, junk food, fast food, desserts. Like every day is a cheat day. Please don't do that. I did it for many, many years. I would get so fat, so bloated looking in the off season. Combination of water and fat. The overall result was looking bad, feeling even worse, performing worse in the gym. When you're carrying a lot of extra body fat, you really cannot train as hard as you should be able to train. It's going to definitely be a limiting factor, especially on things like leg training and back training. Try to do high rep sets of squats when you're super overweight. When I say overweight, let's use some examples from competitors. So I always use some very generic examples. Let's say you are a competitor who's a light heavyweight. You weigh in at 198. That's your competitive stage weight. Strided glutes, diet face, all that. You're 198. How heavy should you let yourself go? I've seen a lot of light heavies that will get up to 250, 260, 270. Very, very heavy for someone who's only going to come down to just under 200 pounds. I used to get up to, this is just me, I'm using myself as a random example. I used to get up to between 235 and 245. I did that for probably a good 6 or 8 off seasons in a row. That was my off season weight. And for many others, I was right around 230. That would be my 230 to 235 would be my range. And man, I felt terrible. For me, that was too heavy. Some of you guys carry weight differently. Some of you are taller, so the weight's just a relative thing. But you don't want to be so heavy that you're uncomfortable, that it hinders your wind, that you have no cardio fitness. And that's another thing. Guys will go from doing regular cardio when they're in a summer cut, whatever, they want to look good for the summer. Then they cut all the cardio out for their off season, as if any bit of cardio is going to hamper their muscle tissue gain, when in fact you want to keep a certain amount of cardio in all the time, not just for health reasons, because you should want to be healthy. But I know some of you young guys, health is like, you're never going to die, you're never going to sick, nothing's ever going to happen to you, and that's understandable. That's exactly how I felt. That was my attitude when I was younger too. But from a performance point of view, like I said, things like high rep squats, leg presses, if you can do supersets, walking lunges, things like that on leg day. If you're doing deadlifts, higher rep deadlifts on back day, barbell rows, things like that, you'll run out of breath very, very fast if your cardio condition is way, way gone, if you've let it completely disappear. So keep some cardio in, guys. Just even 3 times a week, 30 minutes, much better than nothing. I would go with 4 if possible. 4 or 5 sessions of 20 to 30, easy sessions. You're not going crazy. You're not trying to, hustle and go super fast on the step mill or anything like that. But keep that in. But the diet should be just more clean food. I'm not saying you can't have your treats. You shouldn't have them every damn day, though. That was my problem for many of these off seasons past. Every night, especially at night, it'd be cookies, it'd be ice cream, it'd be cereal, milk and cereal, pizza, those California Pizza Kitchen pizzas, those are delicious. And it was every night. So obviously you could cheat, you can have a cheat meal once, twice a week. That should be plenty, man. You shouldn't have to have junk, fast food, stuff like that every single night. You do that, the fat's gonna accumulate pretty quickly on your body. You don't want that, guys. You don't want that. All right, so touched on nutrition. Let's get into training. A lot of guys, they focus on strength in the off season, and that's fine. But as long as you're training in the hypertrophy range, you shouldn't be doing singles, doubles, powerlifting type of routines unless you're a power lifter. If you're trying to grow new muscle tissue, just building strength alone, it's really not going to carry over and translate the way a lot of people seem to think it does, or that they make claims that it does. If you get stronger, I know plenty of people who are super strong for just a couple reps, but they don't have much muscle mass. They're not very big. And I know other people who, they're not that strong. You look at them, you see the size of their muscles, and you think, wow, this guy must be able to bench this amount, deadlift that amount, squat that amount. And don't get me wrong, they're much stronger than the average person, but they're not as strong as you might think they are, looking at the size of the muscles, because that's not what they're training for. So you want to train in a rep range. So for upper body, I don't ever go under 8. 8 to 12 is really good. You can go up to 15. Legs, I don't ever go under 10. 10 to 20 most of the time is my rep range for legs. Sometimes on leg press, you can do things like higher rep sets or even drop sets where you're doing 30, 40, 50 reps. I've even done sets of 100 reps. Just a way to shock the muscles. Another thing about off-season training that makes more sense is we all tend to have this desire to want to do more intensity boosting techniques like drop sets, supersets, giant sets, forced reps. We want to do all that stuff typically when we're leaner and looking better. And, it's part of the rationale as well. We're burning more calories and that. But think about it this way. You're taking in fewer calories. You're doing more cardio. Most people, and I know every time I say it's impossible to, most people do not gain muscle when they're getting leaner. Very few people. There's going to be someone who will say, I got shredded and I gained 1,000 pounds of muscle. And anytime I say anything like that, there's always somebody who's like the exception to the rule and says, well, I did it. Well, that's great. If 1 out of 1,000 people accomplishes something, that doesn't change the trend. That doesn't change the fact that for most people, this is what works and this doesn't, just because it works for you. Like, if I smoke a pack of cigarettes every day for 40 years and my lungs are clean, somehow, and I'm sure that's happened. I'm sure there's somebody out there where that's happened to, where they've been a heavy smoker for years and years, and for whatever reason, they had no lung damage. I bet there's somebody like that. So that person could say, well, I smoke 2 packs a day for 40 years and I'm fine. That doesn't mean everybody else should do that. They were just very, very rare and lucky. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at with the intensity boosters is it actually makes more sense to incorporate more of those techniques in the off season when you're eating more calories, especially more carbohydrates. You're doing less extraneous cardiovascular activity. You're probably sleeping a little better. I know when I'm lean, I don't sleep as much. When I'm really lean, it's hard for me to sleep more than 6 hours a night. I want to sleep more, but I wake up and I can't go back to sleep. It's like my body's done. It's up. So when you have all those extra resources in terms of energy, calories, that's when I think you can use these techniques to inflict further muscle damage. You'll hear a lot of guys say, well, off-season training should just be heavy straight sets. That should actually be the way you train when you're very lean, say pre-contest, the final weeks before a contest, because that's when you're, at your weakest. You want to actually keep as much strength as you can in a good rep range to hold on to your muscle mass. But if you're trying to build new muscle tissue, you want to do the heavy straight sets, but you also want to add on some of these intensity techniques, some drop sets, some supersets, some forced reps, things like that. All right, so I'm pretty sure by now you guys have come up with some questions. Probably have nothing to do with what I'm talking about, and that's okay. That's okay. So let me go to videos. Oh, I can't see my own video. Oh, because I got to change to MD's channel. That's why. Nope. Let's go to switch channel, switch account. Bear with me, guys. I should have done this originally. All right, so let's go to home. No, let's go to your videos. Okay, getting a great look at my chin right now. Okay, so let's go to the home. Uploads. Apologize for the wait here, guys. I should have done this earlier. Okay, so let's go to home. Okay, here we go. Sorry for the delay, guys. Here we go. Okay, so our first question or comment. How big are your arms? Not big enough, Jay. That's from Jay's Audio Lab. They're not that big. You all have bigger arms than me. Every single one of you. Even if you've never touched a weight, even if you're a baby and you're watching this, your arms are bigger than mine. So I hope that makes you happy. It doesn't make me happy. This one's 18. This one's 17 and a half. I'm currently 224 pounds. So for a 224 pound person, 5'7" and a half, that's not very big. It's not very big. My legs aren't even as big as you think they are. They look bigger because they have this great sweep. The shape is really good. But my legs have never been more than, they've never even been 30 inches. 30 inches is a very, very big thigh. I've never even had 30. I think the biggest they ever taped out at when I was fatter was like 29. But in shape, they're like 27. They look a lot bigger because they have that shape, that sweep. You see other guys who have bigger thighs if you throw a tape measure around them, but if they're straight up and down with no sweep, no shape, they don't look very good. Just same thing with arms, Somebody can have like a 16-inch arm with a peak and striations and everything and great shape, and it'll look way better than a 20-inch blob of shapeless, clay, which a lot of guys just have a big blob. That's another reason to stay leaner in the off-season, guys. You don't even look like a bodybuilder. You just look like a big dude, like, like a retired football player or something. All right, more. How do you feel about, let's see. First, I want to say Khalil Adnan. Hey, Ron, thanks for all the content. You're welcome. Brandon Morrison, how do you feel about Arnold complaining during commentary? It's his show. It's the Arnold Classic. He comes from a totally different era. He has his opinions on things like posing, calf development, midsections. He's very opinionated. You don't have to agree with him, and a lot of people don't agree with his opinions and insights. But it's his show. He's free to do any type of commentary he wants. You don't have to agree with it. We had Arnold, Dennis James, Cedric McMillan, and Amanda Latona all commentating. They all had different points of view. It doesn't bother me when Arnold says, these guys today or whatever, because obviously I'm a little older, but if any commentator has a comment or an opinion that I don't agree with, it doesn't bother me. We all have our own opinions. It shouldn't bother you that someone has a different opinion. Although these days having a different opinion is like, look at Facebook. Jeez. Anybody who doesn't, if your opinion isn't exactly the same as someone else, they will roast you. They'll make you out to be the Antichrist. Okay. Khalil Adnan, what's your Olympia predictions? I knew it. Who is the best physique you favor in the sport? Olympia predictions, I'm going to be doing some predictions next week with Giles Thomas. I want to do one with Jose too, because they always have very different takes on it. I do think Rami's probably going to hold on to his title. If he's looking as good or better than last year. I do think Nick Walker is going to surprise a lot of people. I think he's probably going to be as high as second. Could be. He could be. I'm not saying he will be. You got Hadi Choopan. He's no joke. Hadi looks freaking crazy. You got Brandon Curry. He's a former Olympia champ. His legs have come up. You got William Bonac, who was not at the Arnold. He didn't get over. Excellent bodybuilder too. You got some new guys. You got Hunter Labrada, who's never competed against Nick. Ian Valliere coming into the Olympia. James Hollingshead from UK. It's going to be pretty great Olympia. I know I'm leaving some guys out. Best physique. People ask me who's my favorite physique in the sport. Flex Wheeler. Flex back at his peak was just, he was awesome. Let's see. Royal Money Entertainment. How do you bring up your lower back? I'm having a problem with that. Yeah, so you would have to train it specifically. You can do that hyperextension bench, you're face down, you come up like that. My favorite exercise used to be those with weights. So I'd hold on to a bar. I'd hold on to like a preloaded bar, and while I did the hyperextensions, there's lower back machines too. You can do good mornings with the bar on your back, bend over, stand up. Even regular deadlifts, they work the hell out of your lower back. There's a lot of ways to bring up your lower back. Okay, Vince Paul, do you have a take on why most guys left bicep is bigger? Yeah, because mine's bigger and I'm right-handed. I have a theory on it. I don't know if it could be completely way off base. I've never spoken to like a physiologist or someone who actually knows and see if they have an answer. But I believe if you're right-handed, like most of us are, that the left side has to work harder to do everything. So like when I do pulling movements for back, my left side is stronger. My left arm has always been bigger than my right arm, even though I'm right-handed. The only reason my left shoulder isn't stronger is because it's, the arthritis, the osteoarthritis got to it. The cartilage has been gone for many, many years. But Yeah, that's my theory. It's a balance thing. I think you're whatever your non-dominant side is. So I'm curious. Tell me, guys. Tell me in this, like, you guys who are left-handed. There must be a few of you. I want to know: is your right arm bigger? Is it stronger? Well, I wouldn't say strong. My left, like my grip, is definitely much stronger than my right. That's because I use my right hand for everything. So that's probably not even a good analogy. But I'm curious for you guys out there that are left-handed. Is your right arm bigger? I'm very curious to know. Let me know. Okay, let's see. Khalil again, your thoughts on Krizo body? Can he be top Olympia? So I think you're talking about Michael Krizo from the other IFBB Elite. He's a big dude. I don't think he could beat Ramy. I don't know. I'd have to see them next to each other. I haven't seen many pictures of him competing. I've seen his Instagram. I've seen mostly like gym shots, and he's huge, freaky guy. He'll stay over at the IFBB Elite because I'm sure he's paid well, and he can be the best over there. He's beating everybody. I don't know if he would necessarily beat everybody if he came over here. I don't know if he'd beat Ramy, Nick Walker, Bonac, Hadi, Brandon, Rowley, assuming Rowley looks his best again, Nathan DeAsha. We have a lot of amazing talent in the IFBB Pro League, and I don't know if Krizos could beat them all. Maybe he could, but until he switches organizations, which I don't see happening, we'll never know. Okay. Who do you think, Jason says, who do you think will surprise everyone at the O? I'm going to go on that. I wouldn't say Nick Walker because no one's surprised. We just saw him. We knew what was coming. We've never seen James Hollingshead on Olympia stage. I think James Hollingshead from the UK, he might be the dark horse to really shock people because no one's really expecting much out of him. But if you follow him, Hollingshead89 is his Instagram, or his coach, Patrick Tour, PTUOR on Instagram, you'll see he's looking crazy. He's looking crazy because he qualified for this last year's Olympia and chose not to do it. Just wanted to have the qualification. He qualified for the 2020 Olympia and the 2021 Olympia, both last season, because he did a post-Olympia show and won that. I'm very curious to see how he stacks up next to the big guys. I think he's going to be right there. So I think that's my pick for who's going to be a surprise. We've seen everybody else up there. We've seen Hunter. We've seen Ian. We've seen these people up there before. So they're not going to surprise us. They're not going to blow us away with something we've never seen. I'm sure they're all going to look great, but I think Hollingshead has the best chance of really being the X factor. Like, wow, nobody saw this guy coming. But we'll see. Geez, we don't have long to wait, do we? So Brandon Morrison, I hate how he left Nick standing there. So you're talking about Arnold. Yeah, it was very odd that Arnold didn't do his typical winter interviews, which has traditionally been a part of the Arnold Classic. I believe they've been doing it ever since 1989 when it started. But this is a different era with COVID. I'm just speculating. Arnold has had 2 heart surgeries. He's obviously very vocal about wearing masks and being vaccinated. So I don't think he could stand there on a stage face-to-face with somebody with no mask without looking like a hypocrite and interview them. That's what I think was going on there. But I agree. I'm sure Nick and every athlete training for that was hoping, I really want to win and get my interview with Arnold. I get to meet him, and yeah, that's a big draw for the show. It's unfortunate that it didn't happen this year. Let's see. I think it's probably here. I can't read your name because it's either in Greek or Russian. I think that's Greek. Do you think Sebum going to take this W easy? I don't think it'll be easy, but I do think Chris is going to repeat. He's looking crazy right now. You have, obviously, Terrence Ruffin, who just won the Arnold. He was second to Chris last year. He's going to be a very strong competitor. Robert's Classic Physique out of Texas that just won the Texas Pro, beating out Logan. Oh, that's another thing, guys. So a lot of you guys ripped me apart. Maybe not you guys watching right now. I knew, obviously, that Logan Franklin was not qualified for the Olympia. I knew that because I was covering the Texas Pro for MD from home remotely, and I know he had to win that. That was his last chance to qualify for the Olympia, and he didn't win. He took second by 1 point. He lost by 1 point to Robert Timms. So I knew Logan wasn't going to Olympia, but he did such a great job at the Arnold, taking third place, and he looked so good. I think when I did my recaps of the Arnold with both Giles and Jose, it didn't register in my mind that he wasn't qualified. I was already thinking he could be top 5 at the Olympia, top 6. He was definitely going to move up from last year, and only later did I realize, and so many people pointed out in the comments, and other YouTubers even. Shame on you for calling me out on that. How dare you? But yeah, I know Logan wasn't it. So yeah, I think Bumstead is most likely going to win. He's amazing. He's awesome. He's the poster boy for Classic. But you know, who knows? Anything can happen. Breon wants his title back. Wesley Vissers looks pretty damn good. Got Alex Cambronero. I mean, there's a lot of great Classic guys, and anybody can win. You know, I would never say this person. Anyone who's good enough to make top 5, even Brian Jones, who didn't get much of a look at the Arnold, he ended up taking 5th. You know, his condition was a little bit off. I think if he tightens up, he could push for the win too. It's going to be tough. All these guys at that level, they're so good. They're so close to each other. I would hate to be a judge. All right, so that was Vince Paul. Samson Duda looks great too, yeah. But Samson can't go to the Olympia. He's competing in the Arnold Classic UK. I think he's competing tomorrow, or the Open. I'm not sure if the Open men are on. I think they're on tomorrow. Yeah. Samson's going to be pushing for the win along with, obviously, Nathan Dasher would be the heavy favorite to win that show. And there's a couple other guys. Theo Leguerre. I didn't take French in high school. I probably should have. Yeah. But you're right. Samson does look good. Arthur Carvalho. Okay, here we go. An actual off-season training question. People say you should have less than 10% body fat before beginning a good blast cycle in off-season, such as GH15. Do you agree? What should the least percent body fat acceptable to be a good blast? Less than 10% is very lean. If you guys have your body fat tested by any reliable indicator, 10% is very lean. 10% is very clear abs, serratus. It's probably what I would consider 6 weeks out from a contest. And 6 weeks out from competing, you should be looking pretty lean. You shouldn't be way off. You should be seeing some good detail by 6 weeks, and then sort of gradually land the plane, as we say, come in tighter and tighter. But no, I don't think an off-season blast you need to be that lean. I don't like to go by numbers because 10% and 15% and 20%, they look different on everybody. I don't think anybody should ever lose complete sight of their abs, meaning you should still be able to see at least a blurry outline of your abs all the time. It should never just be one big smooth mass. If that's the case, you got too fat. You should always see some muscle separation. The quads, the pecs, the delts. You shouldn't just be one shapeless blob. That's when you got too fat. But that's, generally speaking, for most people, the upper limit is probably going to be about 15%. I don't think you should go above 15%, but 10% is pretty lean. So I think if you're at that point where you can see some muscle separation all over your body, that's fine to start an off-season blast cycle. But you don't want to be over fat. Just like I said in the beginning, there's no reason to get fat. There is no reason. It's not beneficial to you. It's not going to make you stronger. You're certainly not going to feel better. You're going to look like a big slob. Yeah, I mean, I'm done with being fat. You see some of my old pictures, and I'd be interviewing people with this big pumpkin face. Ugh. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Okay, we got a bunch of retracted messages. Oh, Royal Money Entertainment, I'm left-handed. You must have said something obscene. Oh, but you said, yes, mine is, but I don't know if you meant your right arm is bigger, yeah? Okay. Okay, so Viña Marino Libre, best wishes from Viña del Mar, Chile. Chile is in South America, I believe. Okay. Who going to win 212 Royal Money Entertainment? Good question. So Sean Clarita, obviously the heavy favorite. He's the reigning champion. Derek Lunsford looking insane. Former champ Kamala Gardney looking bigger than ever. I think that's your top 3 in no particular order. Who's going to win? Good question. Your guess is as good as mine. You know, we'll know all these predictions, and I say this, all these predictions we make, and guys get all bent out of shape if I don't have them in their top 3 or top 5 or winning whatever. Don't worry. This is just speculation. That's all it is, because until contest day, until the guys walk out there and you see what they look like, none of this matters. None of the predictions, speculation, it's all just bullshit. Okay, Daniel, Regan Grimes was 15th at the last Olympia. Do you think he will do better this year? I hope so. I mean, he's got a fantastic physique. He just needs to bring the condition. He's put on good size. I love his shape. Yeah, I would hope he does a little better this time. You know, he's somebody, you look at his shape and his structure and you're thinking, this guy should be way up there. And he is. He's been gradually adding size. He has a fantastic physique, Regan. I'd like to see how he does. I hope he does better this time. Good dude. Sean or Keon? I forgot about Keon. Thank you. See, I don't mean to forget people. I don't mean to leave people out. Just sometimes it doesn't occur to me. And I actually was texting him earlier. Yeah, Keon. If Keon comes in bang on, shredded, dry, of course he could win the 212. Keon's got a crazy physique. Amazing shape. He's like a little flex wheeler. Yeah, Keon's also. So there's your top 4 in no particular order. Keon, Clarita, Kamal, and Lunsford. Which one of them wins? God, who knows? Pete, okay, it's Sean is S-H-A-U-N. If you're a fan, you'll know that. But yeah, he got it right. Any supplement for sleep, dude? Yeah, so people take melatonin, and the best sleep supplement that I've used, I don't know if there's any better, but Redcon 1 makes one called Fade Out that you drink. You're supposed to drink it about 30 minutes before bedtime. I usually have it with my last meal. I like to put it in the freezer so it gets really frosty, like a slushie. That'll knock you the hell. Everyone I've recommended it to, they've said, yeah, definitely, it helped my sleep. So Fade Out by Redcon 1 is a good sleep supplement. Brian Lee, any word on Nathan making it to U.S. on time for the O? He's doing Arnold Europe this weekend. I don't think it's Arnold UK. I don't think he'll make it over with travel restrictions. So this was Giles' theory. Giles and I talked about it on the Arnold UK preview that was posted yesterday or Tuesday. And he thinks that Nathan was able to get a special exemption, some sort of athlete visa, professional athlete visa, so he can go over. Because otherwise he's supposed to be, theoretically quarantining in somewhere like Abu Dhabi or Mexico right now, and he's not. He's clearly over in his native UK, and he's planning on winning that show tomorrow in Birmingham, so we'll see. But I have heard that. I don't know if it's true. I hope it is, because, God, I want to see Nathan. And I haven't seen Nathan in Olympia now. When was the last Olympia? It was in 2018, I think. It's been a long time. So, yeah, I hope that's the case. Arthur Carvalho, great response. 1% body fat enough to see the abdominals is okay. 10% body fat is exactly the magic number necessary 6 weeks before the show day, considering a drop or 1% body fat. So you'd be 4% body fat on stage, yeah. Who knows what body fat is on stage? When you're in shape, it goes by how you look. If you're out of shape, you can't say to the judges, I know you guys placed me really poorly and you didn't think I was in shape, but I was actually in great shape. Look at my body fat test right here. It says I'm 2%. It doesn't matter what the test says. It's all visual. Bodybuilding is judged 100% on visual, on what they're seeing in front of them. So the actual body fat percent doesn't matter. Khalil Adnan, Nathan is in Arnold UK bodybuilding tomorrow. Say with Steve head judge, exciting. Wish you were here. Yeah, I wish I was there too. Brian Lee, do you think everyone is sleeping on James for the O? Not everyone, but a lot of people. Because we haven't seen him compete over here in the States for a long time, and he hasn't competed since last. So what did he win last year? I think he won. I know he won the Europa show. What else? He won. There was a British Grand Prix, I think, shortly after, and he won that too. Or was it the other way around? Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people forgot about Hollingshead, but if he looks as good as I think he's going to look next Friday night, they'll all remember him. They'll all know who he is. Sean Shelvan, Fuad said on the show yesterday, Nathan probably won't make it over the O. I hope that's not true. I really hope so. It bugs me when, obviously this is just a temporary issue because of the pandemic and travel restrictions and all that, but it bothers me when great athletes can't get over here, and that's why. It's not because they got sick or something happened. It's because they couldn't get the proper documentation, the visa, whatever in time. So we'll see. I hope everyone's here, man. I really hope everyone is. Yeah. Okay. All right. Do we have anything else? Okay. If not, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Next week's going to be all about the Olympia. Yeah, I'm seeing all these text messages I got to respond to. So, guys, appreciate you watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Like the video, share the video, hit the subscription bell, do all that. Appreciate all you guys. Have an awesome weekend. Stay safe. Make some gains. Talk to you later.